For those fresh takes, we bring in our guy when it comes to QB1, the grades for Week 7. Let's call him Professor Matt Ryan for this segment alone, because he has to hand out some grades and what the teams actually deserve and what we saw on Sunday. We might as well start with Sunday night here, Matt. What about the Jets here?
All right, I'm going to go C- for the Jets. I think that's fair. I don't think it's overly critical. I think given all the talent that they have, you'd expect more. A couple bad breaks for sure. Garrett Wilson, that ball bounces, gets picked. But overall, disappointing performance from the Jets. They keep every week. You feel like you're going to expect more, and they just haven't delivered. So for me, C-.
All right, C- there. Devontae Adams in the house. We'll see how that pans out. On the opposite side, the Steelers, the winners in that matchup. Russell Wilson cooking. What you got for them?
All right, Steelers, I go with an A. All right, you know, like I look at that. Right. Correct. I look at what they did last night. Started a little bit slow, so if you wanted to critique me on that, I get it. But once Russ kind of hit that first deep ball down the left, and then started giving the opportunity balls on the sideline, they had a couple things bounce their way. But you know, given the decision to switch from Justin Fields to Russell Wilson, and the way they played defensively, special teams, the block kicks, I give them an A. That was a good win last night.
I was curious how long we'd have to wait until we got an A from you, Matt, but now I see maybe you're a little bit lenient at times. So let's see how you're feeling about the Chiefs with this one right here.
All right, Chiefs, let me find my notes right here. Yeah, Chiefs, that's a B for me. Oh, you know, okay. I look at them, I know you're undefeated. They didn't look that great, although Patrick did truck the guy going into the end zone. I like that. That probably bumped him up from a B-, but it was a good win on the road. Nothing flashy. Got the job done, and keep it moving. That's the kind of grades I used to like to get.
Okay, 2 interceptions thrown by Mahomes there and still finding a way to get a win. Of course, the other side, the loser, you had the 49ers, injuries banging them up. What's the grade for them?
C-, man. C- for me. I looked at them. I just think, you know, again, kind of like the Jets, they leave you wanting more every week. You have this expectation where you think they're going to play better. I know, you know, Ayuk goes out with, we'll see, you know, the extent of the injury at some point today or later. But, you know, disappointing performance and certainly one that they want to get over the hump with this team, and they can't do it.
Speaking of getting over the hump, I noticed one thing here. The 2 losers so far, C- Jets, C- Niners. Where are we with the Panthers? It can't be higher than a C. I'm just saying. It has to be like failing or incomplete. That's just my preference, just asking.
It's straight F.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Straight F. Yeah. I mean, I don't even think I need to comment on it.
You did?
If anyone watched any of it, that was a failure.
You know I'm a Panthers fan.
Don't question the professor. The professor is giving out his grades. On that opposite side, the Commanders, who look so good against the Panthers. I'm curious. That has to be an A or something, right, man?
That's an A.
Oh.
That's an A.
Wow.
I mean, even with the quarterback going out, you completely dominate on the road. And, you know, you could grade it on the scale where it's against the Panthers, so it's really not, you know, an A performance. But given the emotional game that they had the week before in the loss to the Ravens, I think coming back, playing that way, and just taking care of business the way you're supposed to do it, can't ask for anything else.
Beat him like it was an AP course.
I'm a little hurt by that, but I'll take the L's on the chin because the Panthers have been so bad. Let's go over to Vegas and see the Raiders. What are they getting?
Raiders are a C for me, and I'm doing this on a scale. You know, all of the stuff that they have going on. They lost Devontae Adams. They made the changes at quarterback. Then they have to go back to Minshew yesterday. You know, they're playing with a depleted deck of cards, and I thought they did okay. So I'm giving them a C.
So if they're getting a C, then the Rams are getting what?
B-. You know, B-. You know, I thought Matthew Stafford played pretty solid. I mean, the numbers aren't gaudy, but who's out there for him? I mean, if you could name 5 other players other than Matthew Stafford on the Rams right now, it's impressive. So they get the job done in a win. I give them a B-.
All right, let's go to the London grading scale, because that's what we have with the Patriots and Jags. And a lot of people said Drake May, hey, look, he looked a lot better than what we saw in that first game, over 200 yards of the air. What did the Patriots get for you?
Started well, struggled after that, C-. And they gave up like a 90-yard punt return for a touchdown. That's a C- for me. Can't do that. Can't do that, especially breathing life into a Jags team that had been struggling so much. I expected this game to be more competitive, and that was a C- for me.
Real quick, Matt, if you had to pick a grade for Drake May, what you saw in those 2 starts, your thoughts real quick?
I think he's played about a B, right around there. I mean, I honestly, if you look at all that's around him right now, I've been encouraged by Drake May. I think there's a lack of talent on that team. And I think he's going out there and he's looked pretty good.
All right. Jags, opposite side of that one.
I go with a B-. Again, it's, I wish I could give him a higher grade, but you handled business over in London. You had the 10-day trip, basically, so you had the advantage by staying over there for the extended period of time. They played pretty well in the second week. B-. I don't know how you change culture when it's the same head coach, and he talked about it, so B- for me.
Anticipation was high for that Lions-Vikings game. King in the North, who is that? The Lions, where are they getting?
Lions, I had an A. I think going on the road, playing an undefeated football team, the performance from Jared Goff, just the efficiency that he's played with the last couple of weeks, overcome losing, Aiden Hutchinson the week before defensively, stepping up when they needed to make plays. I like this football team. That was an impressive performance.
So then I'm figuring you're probably not going to ding the Vikings too much, right?
Nah, B+ for me. B+. I mean, this game could have gone either way, right? And so, you didn't get the win, so you can't get an A, but I thought it was a good performance, tough performance. I really expect, as we see division games like this in the NFC North, for the next 2 months, I expect that they're going to look a lot like this.
Speaking of the NFC North, the Packers, thoughts on what you saw there with Jordan Love and the crew?
A-, would have been an A, had they not turned the football over the way that they have. Probably could have been a B with all those turnovers, but overcoming it and finding a way to win, last-minute drive by Jordan Love, stepping up and making plays against the Texans team. I mean, that defense was playing hard. The Texans defense was playing hard. And so I look at that one, I give them an A-.
C.J. Stroud and Houston unable to overcome some of those later wounds that we saw in that one. What do you give the Texans?
B+, and it's mainly for the defense. I thought the defense showed up. They had, I think, 5 starters out and going out there and playing physical like they did. The run game on the offensive side, Joe Mixon, I thought was very impressive. Passing game, they're struggling without Nico Collins right now. And so when they get him back, I think they'll be back to being one of the best in the league.
Dolphins-Colts was not a pretty game by any stretch of the imagination, but the Colts get back Anthony Richardson and they win. So what does Indy get?
C+. So, I don't think there's much more to say. C+.
C+ there. So then what are the Dolphins getting?
C-. Let's go to the next one.
All right, boom.
All right.
AFC North, the Bengals. What you got there with Joe Burrow?
Where are my notes here? Let me go down my list. What did I say? Bengals. I think I said B- here for the Bengals. The Browns have struggled, but defensively they were kind of scrappy yesterday. Offensively, they struggled to get into a rhythm in the first half, but the defense stepped up, right? And that was one of the things I think we were looking for from the Bengals. They were pretty good against the run yesterday, got after the passer a little bit, got some sacks. Give the Bengals a B-. They're back at 3-4, but I expect more from the offense.
All right, the Browns there, you get Nick Chubb back, but you lose Deshaun Watson. Where do they fall for you?
All right, listen, I want to give a caveat for this, and I got this right in my notes here somewhere, but, I give the Browns basically a C. They hung tough in that game, but more importantly than any of that, A+ for my man Nick Chubb. Coming back, finding a way to go through all that rehab, wrote an incredible article to the city of Cleveland, talked about his grandmother, his family, being a rock and a strength for him. And so him to get in the end zone yesterday, really great, awesome to see. A+ for Nick Chubb.
Chance now to see just where your loyalties really lie as a grader here, Matt. What do the Falcons get?
C, C. And if I wasn't, kind of biased on this, probably a little bit lower grade. But I give him a C. The run game was good. Bijan was good yesterday. Goes for over 100 yards, but everything else not up to par. Disappointing performance for the Falcons yesterday.
Yeah. Geno Smith throwing for 2 touchdowns in that win. So with that in mind, what do the Seahawks get?
I give him an A. I do. I think going down there, performing the way that they did, Kenneth Walker getting going, Geno playing really well. Not easy for a West Coast team to go on the road, play that 1 o'clock game. They handled business. I give them an A.
All right, Bills Mafia got a new toy there, and Amari Cooper for Josh Allen. Thoughts on what they did?
Well, I think it was a tale of 2 halves. I think a C in the first half, A in the second half averages out for a B for me. I liked what they did in the second half, though. Started to get a little bit of a rhythm. Thought Amari Cooper did a nice job. There were some cool clips in that game. Touchdown, he caught it. Looked like Keon Coleman was telling him what to do, which was awesome. But it started to get everybody flowing in that second half offensively. I give them a B. Good win for them.
All right, you give them a B. You gave the Bills a C in the first half. I'm curious where the Titans land because they were leading in the first 2 quarters.
Yeah, I give them an A in the first half and a C, basically a D in the second half. They couldn't stop anything. So it nets out at like a C for me for the Titans. Thought Mason Rudolph came in, took care of the football for them offensively, at least early on. But defensively, they just couldn't hold up in the second half. That's a C for me for the Titans.
Eagles-Giants, we got the return back home for Saquon Barkley, and he balled out. So with that in mind, the Eagles are landed where? Because they blew him out.
Hey, that is a performance. You go in division, take care of business on the road, and you also get, your star player, his numbers, his touches, his performance that he's looking for in an emotional game for him. I thought that was an A effort from the Eagles.
I feel like I could guess what you're about to give the Giants, but I want to hear you say it yourself. So the Giants, what grade are they getting, teacher?
That's an F. That's a complete failure. Anytime you bench a quarterback too, it's going to be it's going to be a low grade. But the defense couldn't stop the run. You get blown out like that at home. That's an F.
Professor Ryan, I like it. Where can we find this Gen Ed course anywhere? This is one of these easy 8 courses we find. Can we find the syllabus somewhere online? Is this where we can find this course?
Yeah, this is one of those 100 courses, man. We're not too advanced. It's one of those 100 courses.
I tell you where the folks at home where they can find us. Matt Ryan, always on Sundays. Appreciate it, my friend. Don't forget NFL on CBS. You can catch Professor Ryan there with the crew, JB and others, as always, Sundays at noon Eastern on CBS.